So now we're looking for simplest form. This is a monomial divided by a monomial. So this is going back to grade 9 for simplifying. When you have something like this, there's nothing to factor because you factor binomials and trinomials. There's just fraction work. Can you simplify the numbers in your fraction?
Yes.
25 and 35, does that simplify down to? 5 and 7. And it'd still be a negative on the top. I have a cubed on the top and an a on the bottom. There's going to be an a squared left on the top. You could use your exponent laws where you subtract, or you could just imagine 3 a's on the top, all multiplied together, and 1 a on the bottom. And those ones canceling out. Negative 5a squared, because if I have an a cubed and an a, then those a's would cancel out and I'd be left with a squared on top. What about b's?
Well, B on the bottom is going to be
b3 left on the bottom.
and C on the top.
And there's going to be a c on the top.
And you're done.
And we're done. That is correct. So that is part A. I can go back. There you go. Okay, so here's part B.
It'd probably be worse if I wasn't here.
Okay, now can you factor? Now we have something on the top that has a plus sign. Can we factor? Because you're going to be, what's going to happen in this unit is you're going to be tempted to cancel out x's when you see them like this. The rule for canceling out, you are not allowed to cancel out these x's. The rule for canceling out is you can only simplify when things are multiplied. And right now on the top, this adding means that this whole thing is grouped together. And if that whole thing is grouped together, you can't simplify it unless there's something on the bottom that has a common factor or is identical to it. But we can factor the top. This is the strategy we're going to use. In the top, there's a common factor. What can I pull out? I can pull out even bigger. I can pull out a 6 and an x. And I'd be left with an x plus 2. And on the bottom, I'd have a 3 and an x. Now the x's can cancel because you've set it up as multiplication. And 6 divided by 3 is 2. So you would be left with 2 times x plus 2, which is the same as 2x plus 4. Okay? We're going to use the factoring strategy as our main strategy over and over again. Some of you might, for this question, some of you might think of doing the opposite of adding fractions. Right? When you add fractions, you need a common denominator, right? And then you add the tops. So if you went backwards and said, before this, I had this. That's working backwards from adding fractions. Can you see that I have a common denominator? Yes. And then the next step when you have a common denominator is to add the tops, and you would get exactly what we started with. But taking what I have here, now I have monomials, so I could simplify. 6 divided by 3 is 2x, leave me with 2x, plus 12 divided by 3 is 4. X divided by x would cancel, and I'd also get 2x plus 4. This is both two different methods for part B. So you have to decide which one makes mathematical sense for you. But both of them give us 2x plus 4. Although I think this 2 on this one looks nicer than that too. Part C. I could go back quick, yeah. You should put your phone away, then it's not distracting. You could turn it over. There we go. teacher in another class said there was a student writing a text message on their phone, and they said, okay, can you hand your phone in? The person said, okay. They put their phone on the desk. They went back, pulled out a second cell phone, and continued their message from before. Wow. Oy. I don't know. Questions like this. Here we go. Now we've got a binomial on the top, a trinomial on the bottom. Our main strategies, we're going to see if we can factor. Can you factor the top? Yes. It's a difference of squares. X, 7, 1 plus 1 minus. X plus 7, x minus 7. The bottom is a trinomial. Can you factor it? It's going to be x and x. Minus 7 plus 2. Doesn't matter which order you do that. And because these are math questions that ask you to simplify, it almost always happens that there's some that are the same. This is the most fun part. Canceling those out. And you can make the sound effects, although during the exam, and you hear like it's quiet in the whole gym, and then you hear all over the place. And because it's just one binomial on the top and one on the bottom, you wouldn't have to write the brackets. You could if you wanted to. But this simplifies to just be x plus 7, x plus 2. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll talk once we're done this question. All right. Last question. Oh, this is a good one. So we start by factoring the top. We have to say, okay, again, you're thinking reversed FOIL. If to get 2x squared, I would have to have what and what? 2x and x. To get 3, it's got to be 3 and 1 or 1 and 3. Okay, we need to get one of them's positive, one of them's negative. Be careful here, because there's different ways that you can get 5. Okay, it's going to have to be plus 1 minus 3. Always do a check where you FOIL it out in the end. Will I get a minus 3 for my last ones? Yes. Does my outside, which is minus 6x, and my inside, which is plus x, give me minus 5? It does. Always check it quickly. And then on the bottom, this is a difference of squares. 3 minus x, 3 plus x. Are they identical? Okay, I'm going to write them again. 2x plus 1, just so the x's are in the front. Can you see that 3 plus x, that's the same as x plus 3? Can you see that 3 minus x is the same as minus x plus 3? Are there any that are identical? No. There are none that are identical. Okay? But there was an important thing you learned. You saw it already in grade 10, because it comes up a fair bit in the homework in grade 10. We'll put it down here again. Special note. Okay? When you have a binomial like x plus 3, or this is the same as 3 minus x, can you see that you could take a negative 1 out of there? And if I took a negative 1 out of both of those, I would get x minus 3. Can you see that? So anytime that you see things like this, where they're the same, but just written in the opposite order, you can take out a negative. And if you take out the negative, then we're left with 2x plus 1 on the top. And if you left it as negative x plus 3, that would be fine. Or if you distributed it to make it negative x minus 3, that would be fine. And that is completely simplified. Questions you can do for this one are Slurpee.